Bold.
Podcast.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Bold Podcast, where everything we talk about is determined by the bold. Today, we have a special guest. Melissa, what's up? What's up? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Can't complain.
All right, cool. Here, we're going to turn your mic
Oh, it's
up. Yeah,
Okay.
right there. All right, cool. Bet. So, you good? You good?
I'm good.
All right, bet. Y'all, she was trying to tell me how to run my podcast. No, I'm just playing. Starting miss already. No, we go way back, me and Melissa and her husband Reggie, gang time. You know what I mean? You know, back in the day. So tell them, I always ask everybody, how did we meet?
Back in high school.
Okay.
I can't exactly remember when or where. I just know you were everywhere. You talked to everybody, literally.
Okay.
And I think I met you through my husband, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because y'all were always together. So.
Yeah. So interesting. So, and what she says, I was everywhere. Break that down, because people might get confused.
Okay, now you talk to everybody. You talk to like who would be considered like the band geeks or the nerds or the football guys. Everybody. You just talk to any group of people that you'll see. They knew who he was.
Oh, that's true. See, that's true. Okay, all right. You gotta be specific, because people are like, he talked to.
No.
Oh, see, I
That's
told
what
you.
I meant.
Bet. Okay. Well, it's good to have you on the show. You know, it's interesting because I always like to have guests that are fun. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
I'm a good time.
Yeah. She real. Okay. All right. So let's jump right in to the bowl podcast. Let's do the first topic and see how we go. So I'm gonna hand you the bowl.
Life is short. You just gotta lift the bowl.
Don't read the other side. See.
Okay. Plans and goals.
Okay. So I always ask a question and then we just kind of talk about it. And I'll take that. Thank you. Okay. So plans and goals. So tell me, since we met in high school, what were some of your plans and some of your goals? And so it's going to be a two-part question. What were some of your plans and some of your goals? And then did you accomplish those? And then also, if not, why not? Do you feel? Yeah.
So after high school, to be honest, I didn't really have any goals.
Okay.
It was just like, I'm going to see where life takes. Yeah. I'm going to see where life takes it. If wherever it takes me, it takes me.
Okay.
So after high school, I think we graduated like in June. A couple weeks later, I got a job at a preschool.
Okay.
I was there for like a year and a half. And then I'm now at my current job, which it's okay. I'm not complaining. But we do plan to have kids in the near future. So Reggie would like me to be a stay-at-home mom.
Okay. How you feel about that?
I don't know. I don't know if I could stay home all day.
Okay.
But, to me or to our family, it's important to, be at home with our kids in the future with our future kids. But
okay.
So that's pretty much
how it went. Okay. So, and you said like you didn't really have like plans and goals, know, and so do you feel like, accomplished in what you did, or do you have other plans that, like, now that you have gotten married, you want kids and things, is there any goals that you have now that you're shooting for?
Well, yeah, we want to start building property. Well, we have a lot of property, so we want to start building on it.
Okay.
Therefore, it could be easier to be a stay-at-home mom.
Gotcha.
So I'm talking about like the next couple months to a year. That's what we're planning to do.
Oh, that's really cool. I've seen a lot of people getting into that. I hear it's like is it a hard field, or is it like?
It just depends, really, because like in my family, pretty much everybody's into that.
Okay.
So, when you have people with experience, it becomes a little bit easier than when you're just not knowing what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that's what we plan to do, and we'll see. Now I knew I didn't want to go to college.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, that's not for me. I was dragging my feet in high school, so I knew that college was not for me.
And I
So
and that's a great no. It's good that you mentioned that because I know there's a lot of people that well less so now though, but I feel like a lot of people kind of grew up in the like you have to go to college,
mhm.
and now I look at how society is now, and it's kind of like go to college if it's for you, but back then it wasn't really like that. It was like
Yeah.
you got to go to college, and
Yeah.
so I would ask you like, what do you think that push for college was? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think
My
college?
parents.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, growing up like in a Hispanic household,
yeah.
like my dad worked in construction all his life. My mom was most of her life a stay-at-home mom,
Okay.
and so they knew what the struggle was. So my parents were both always like, college, 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 because you don't want to. Well, for women in Hispanic household, it's a
Mm.
little bit different
Okay.
than the males,
Yeah.
because construction is outside in the heat all day, every day.
Yeah.
So they're like, to my brothers as well, like to my whole siblings, it's five of us. They always told us college, 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 because you see how your dad busts his butt all day, every day.
Mm.
You don't want to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
They're like, you want to be inside the AC, inside with the AC on, getting paid.
Yeah.
But that just wasn't for me. And again, in the Hispanic household,
Yeah.
it's always like the moms were always at home.
Yeah.
So that in my mind is like, well, you've been at home for years with
Yeah.
us, so why can't I do that?
I like that option. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I've been working, saving my little
Okay.
coins.
Your coins up. You know, what I'm saying, on your Sonic thing. I see you. I see you. Okay. So let me ask this because I think that's an important conversation. That part right there about staying at home, being a stay-at-home mom. I've seen in society that is such a taboo thing nowadays. Like I don't know if
Mhm.
you noticed that, but like I've seen that a lot of women nowadays are like stay at home mom. No, you need to go and you need to chase and you need to
Look, y'all can
and
have that.
and and
I'm not trying to
and
do
look
that.
that's my thing that I would think, getting your thoughts on that too, because I feel like they're saying that because of kind of a society thing where it's
Mhm.
like, nah, you don't want to be stuck in the house. But watching your mom be a stay at home mom, what would you say is like they're missing out on? I would ask you, like, what do you think? Because you've seen your mom.
Yeah.
So you would say, like, oh, it was good because of, what would
She
you
was
say?
always there.
Okay, see.
Yeah, like when I speak to my husband, his mom was always at work because, she was a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
And she will wake up early in the morning to go to work, so they'll have to go to school by themselves,
See.
walk to school or take the bus. And they were like, I'm talking about first, second grade.
Yeah, little kids.
And I'm like, oh my God, like I have never experienced that because my mom was always at home.
Yeah.
Even if she had to walk me to school, she was always there, for anything. And I think that's what I would want for my children,
Okay.
I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for every other woman. Do what is best for you or
Yeah.
what you would like. But to me, I would rather stay home. And if that's something that my husband will encourage that for me as well,
Yeah.
then why not?
Yeah.
And then when the kids start school, I could get me like a little part-time job here or there. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think even like your nonchalantness, like I just feel like that's such a lack in today's society. Not nonchalantness like negatively, but
Hmm.
like in a way where it's like, well, I mean,
It's
I want to
fine.
stay. It's fine,
Yeah.
and I think that's what is missing, like in society, is the whole "it's fine." Like, being at home does. Because I was talking to somebody else about it. On another podcast, and I was telling them like I've seen that nowadays nobody wants to lose. Like nobody wants to look like, oh, I'm the weaker one, like because I'm staying home, and it's like,
But you're not. If you're if you, to okay, this is how I feel.
okay, break that down.
I want to be taken care of,
Okay.
and to me, that's one reason why I did marry, is
Mm,
because I don't mind my husband taking care of me.
yeah,
And I
that's
feel
good.
like a lot of women feel like when they say I want to be an independent woman,
Uh-huh.
they don't need a man.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. You better get me canceled. No, I'm just playing. No. No, this is good.
No, like that's. I mean,
Come on.
you can be independent,
Okay.
but also have somebody there to support you in everything you do
Mm-hmm.
and encourage that.
Yeah.
You know. And I feel like um, a main part of staying at home also had to do with my husband, how he was raised.
Okay.
He sees the difference of how I was raised. So he was
Mm.
like, I want our kids to have what I didn't
What
have.
you right, exactly.
So I'm like, okay, like I understand that. And at first, I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was like, but I could work and be a mom too.
Yeah.
But then I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, the kids when they're sick or school meetings or this, that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be at work. Who's gonna go? Who's gonna be doing that? He works. So we
Yeah.
both work.
Y'all both
Who's gonna
gonna
go? The grandparents? Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I feel like that would be our responsibility.
Okay, I feel that.
To do that. So.
Okay, no, that's what's up. And here, this I know I'm adjusting your mic, but
the conversation
it's
is
going
so
kind of crazy.
It's so good. I didn't even notice. Okay.
There you go. And if it, are you good?
Okay.
It'll. Hey, it's gonna do what it wants to do. Y'all, this is a real podcast. We just going in. We just going in. But
Okay.
no, you know what? And I love what you're saying because it just makes you it makes you sad nowadays because it's such a battle of the sexes, and I just feel like I said, nobody wants to lose, and I feel like people are I said it stems from fear because nobody wants to look vulnerable. They
Right.
don't want to look like, man, if I give them all this stuff, what if it goes bad, and instead of having a mentality of well, life goes on, hey, what can you do? They're more so like, nah, I have to prevent this. I gotta, and they're trying to do in all their power to stop that. But I feel like you were saying, you having, Reggie is one of those things where y'all made that decision, well, I want to stay at home. And he was like, I noticed that that's how you grew up, and I would have loved to have that. So why not push that towards our kids so they can have that,
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, even now, people are like, man, kids, I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm having kids. And I've heard a lot of people saying nah, kids aren't for me. I'm too selfish. And they're not thinking about it this is my legacy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to always be here. And when I'm gone or when I'm old and I'm looking around, it's going to be like, oh, I ain't got no kids. I ain't got no,
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie too. Before we got married,
Okay.
that talk of having kids, we knew we were gonna wait off until our 30s.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we got married at 25. Yeah, 25.
Okay.
So I was like, I want to enjoy this time with you.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you because we never lived together. First of all,
Right.
We
Yeah.
never. My parents, they were not.
They weren't
about
rolling with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let him spend the night. They wouldn't let me spend the night. It was very old school, Christian, into
Yeah.
church kind
I
of
respect it.
parents.
I'm rolling.
So once we got married, that was hard. I'm not gonna lie. I love my husband. I love him, but when you move in with somebody,
Yeah.
it's different. It's different in so
told you
many
to
ways.
pick up them socks.
I thought you were gonna tell me to pick up
No.
the mic. I'm like, okay. I'm mad.
And you look, and the crazy thing is you put it at the perfect height. I was like, oh, all right. No, but no.
Traumatized.
Bro, that is
I'm
that's crazy.
crying.
No, that is so funny because I was gonna, I was about to joke about I told you to pick up your socks, but you moved so fast, I didn't even have a chance. No, I'm joking. I'm talking about, bro. That is okay. Woo, but I already knew
You
this.
don't have to leave that in.
Yo, no, I'm telling you, I leave all this stuff. I knew
Okay,
the
okay.
podcast would go this way. I knew it. I told you. I knew we was gonna
I
clown
don't
out
even
here.
know what we're talking about.
No, because you were talking about it's hard to live with. Pull it together. Pull it
Okay,
together.
okay, okay,
Okay. So, no, that's funny. No, we were talking about you living with somebody was hard because y'all
Oh
didn't live
yeah,
together.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It was hard because it's like, first of all,
yeah.
two different cultures.
Okay, yeah.
Let's start there.
Okay.
Two different cultures, so it's like stuff that I was used to
Yeah.
doing, he wasn't, or because
Mm,
they were a single parent household,
yeah.
like his mom did a lot of the stuff around the house and stuff
Okay.
like that. So, and growing up in a Hispanic household, from the time you're walking, you're doing stuff around the house. So it was completely different. And
Okay.
the first couple of years were really hard. And so I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we don't want to bring a kid into when we're still learning from each
Yeah.
other.
Okay. That's
I'm
right.
like, because that's not fair to the child that we're
Yeah.
arguing or we're, not talking to each other because we're still getting used to living with each other.
Right. Exactly.
I was like, and plus, like how you're saying when people are like, oh, we don't want to have kids because we're selfish. Yeah, I was selfish in the beginning of my marriage.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, because again, to us having kids, like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people don't take that as serious as it is. Like, you're
Mm.
bringing a whole human
That's right.
into this
Facts.
world.
Yeah.
Like, you're responsible for every decision.
Yeah.
And that's something that I felt like I was still young.
Okay.
I was like,
I feel
I
that.
don't wanna,
Mhm.
I seen, like, growing up, a lot of my family members were young having kids.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I seen kind of like the struggle that they would go through. And I was like, that life isn't for me. At least not yet.
Mhm.
So yeah, so the first couple years, and everybody in my family to this day, they're like, okay, when y'all having kids, when y'all have kids, when y'all have kids. It's like, probably next year. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. God
We'll
willing.
see.
God willing.
God
Yeah.
willing, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, stuff happens and,
Yeah.
But we've been enjoying life.
That's good. And this is such a good topic because like I'm glad we were able to get into this topic because from knowing y'all, it's it's cool to see, y'all still being together cuz y'all known each other since
Oh, yeah, we've been dating since high school.
and
But
y'all
we've
met
been knowing since middle school.
in middle school.
Like, fresh out of elementary, I met him.
See, and that's so crazy because that's the kind of stuff you see in movies, like high school sweethearts, but y'all were like middle school and y'all were finding y'all's way and stuff.
Yeah.
But to see y'all still together, you with this microphone. I know I gotta tighten it up. But
Get it together.
I know, right? To see y'all still together, and you don't have to trip on it too much. It'll be alright.
Can you still hear me though?
Yeah, you still good.
Okay.
You good. To see y'all together though, still, into adulthood is crazy. Cause we all didn't really know, back then, like what the future, held. And so now we're like 20s, almost going into 30s, and we're still like we're the same kind of in a way, like of course in our humor and our friendships and stuff, but we've matured so much. But yet I've noticed that the characteristics that we kept are ones that it's like we kind of want to pass on. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
It's like the way we like joke about stuff, the way our mindsets about, staying at home and doing this. It's like all of that stuff is stuff that we kept. And then all the toxic stuff that we were like, ooh, I can't be doing that. Okay. We let that stuff go, and we kind of keep all that we want. So yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I can see definitely y'all's growth and stuff, but I still see the, see with the microphone.
Yeah.
No, but you good. I was see. Okay, so let's do this. Let's pull from the bowl again. But that was great. That was great. Let's pull one more time. Well, probably a few more times. But okay. All right. What you got?
Are you a good person?
Okay. So let's talk about that. And I was wondering when somebody would get that topic. So do you feel like you're a quote unquote good person, and how would you define that?
I try to be a good person. You're not always going to be a good person, personally. I feel like you have your good and your bad days. Being a good person is, to me,
Uh-huh.
um, being there for somebody, giving good advice, even if they don't like it.
Yeah.
Um, Being a good person, I mean, just being there,
Yeah.
I would think it's just a good person, but I'm not always a good person, I don't think.
I feel it.
You know, even just at home, I'm not always a good person.
Oh, for real? Let's talk about that. No, I'm just playing. No.
I mean,
If
I
you
don't
want to,
care.
yeah.
I
If you
don't
want
care.
to, what do you
I
mean by that?
mean, sometimes I have bad days at work, and
Mm.
unfortunately, that follows me all the way to the house.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
sometimes it's like, no, I don't want to talk to you
Yeah.
at all. I just want to be in my bubble and be to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that could be considered not a good person.
And,
So,
and let me and that's a good point right there, because even that idea, and the reason I asked that question is because I think so many people are trying to be good people. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
Like, I want to be a good person. I want to be, but it's tough because it's like we're human. So it's like you being a good person is not even supposed to really be, how to explain it? Like, everybody's definition of a good person is different. Like,
right.
for instance, like you could say, oh, like, when I have bad days, I don't like to talk. And so that might not be a good person. But somebody else might say, I'm glad you're not lashing out on me. Instead, you're keeping it to yourself. That's such a good, that's what a good person, you see what I'm saying?
Okay,
And
I see
so,
that.
so I've seen that, like, everybody has this thing where they want to be a good, you know,
Yeah.
person, and I think
Yeah.
it can be tough, but I found, of course, besides having the Lord, because he's the only thing that's good. Gang,
Right.
gang, gang, gang. But other than that, it's a thing where I think really I've seen that being walking in the truth is usually what makes things. I don't feel like there's good people. I just feel like there's people that if you sacrifice for somebody
Mhm.
else, I feel like that's the best thing you
Yeah.
could do. You know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a trick question. Sorry for tricking you. But no. But I feel like so many people are looking like, "Oh, I give to charity. I'm a good person." Or like, "Oh, I did this. I'm a good person." And it's like I feel like rather than us trying to be good, we
Right.
should be trying to basically sacrifice for other people. And it's not even us trying to label ourselves like I'm a good person, but it
Yeah.
should just be in our actions. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree
So
with that.
so I want to say I want to ask you on that too. Do you feel like what is something that you would improve, I guess, going with the quote unquote good person? What's some things that you would improve that you would say, okay, I could fix this to be better, I guess?
Something that I have already improved in or working on.
We could do both.
Okay, communication.
Okay, and what does that mean? Okay, sorry to cut you
Go
off,
ahead.
but I want to ask you because I've heard so many people say you got to communicate. What does
Mhm.
that mean to you?
Okay, to me is if I did something to you
Mm-hmm.
or if I said something to you that you didn't like, um, I feel like once you're not upset anymore,
Yeah.
you should come and communicate to me and say, hey, what you said or what you did, you
Yeah.
might not have meant it that way,
Right.
but this is how I took it. And then I can be like, oh, like, again, it's your intention. If
Mm-hmm.
I knew I said that to be slick or to be rude or
Yeah.
to
To
be
be mean.
ugly,
Yeah. Yeah.
then I'll be like, okay, sorry. Like, I didn't mean it that way,
Yeah.
but that'd be lying. So it's like, okay, back to, I hate to keep bringing my relationship into
No. No.
this,
No.
but
This honestly, relationship stuff is what a lot of people like. Yeah, that's what they
because
want.
that is something that we struggled with for a long time and we're still working on it.
Okay.
Like, there's things that when he upsets me or when I upset him, we both just don't talk for a couple
Mm-hmm.
hours or
Okay.
whatever. And then sometimes, depending on the day,
Yeah.
um, when I mean we need to work on communicating is because he'll just start acting like nothing happened. And I'm like, okay, no, you just you don't remember what just
Uh
happened
huh.
like a couple hours ago?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, we need to communicate about what I did or what you did to make me mad.
Okay. Right.
Because I'm just gonna be even more mad if you just go on your day like that didn't happen,
Yeah.
or vice versa. But we've been getting better, like, and apologizing.
Okay.
Um, that's been something like um, that I've been trying to do. Like, if I know I'm at fault, if I
Yeah.
know I'm the one to cause the issue, swallow my pride and be like, hey, like, I realized what I did earlier. Like,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you can still be upset, but, like, I apologize.
Right. Okay.
And if he'll be like, okay, I accept your apology, but he's still in his feelings.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. He's
Rightfully
still
so.
upset. He's still upset. So he just cools off, and then, like, we start talking about what happened or whatever, and then we come to a resolution. But it's just communicating, and we're still trying to figure it out, because sometimes we don't want to communicate.
Yeah.
Because we're just that upset. So
Yeah.
we just
don't.
we know, and
Yeah.
we sometimes we do go to sleep mad.
Okay.
And I know we're not supposed to, but, like, it just happens.
It just happens.
It just happens.
And that's what I love this, because that is when I talk about being a good person, it's certain attributes that I feel like people miss, as far as, because they think that being a good person is the appearance of being a good person. So that's why I mentioned, like, charity. So, like, on the outside, or around certain people, it's like, oh, have you met this person? They're charitable, they're this, they're this, they're this. And then you see that same person around somebody else, like a waiter, and it's like, man, you're messing up my food, and this is, and you be like, whoa, hey, what happened to this person, right? And so that's why I say it's about the truth. So even the way you mentioned, like, hey, sometimes we go to bed mad. Sometimes we're so mad we don't talk. Like, we don't. That's the kind of stuff, and that's why I love, like, doing this podcast, because that's the kind of stuff, like, I'm big on. All right, y'all, let's be real. Like, for real. Like, let's not do, because I've had that, in my past relationships where oh gosh. Yeah, I was a youngin. I was a young boy. Be real. I'm like you put me on spot. But I had times in my past relationships where I had this thing where I was like, I should be mad here. Like, society would tell me, like, oh, she did this? I'm mad. When I actually really wasn't mad, but I felt like, well, I got to be mad, or else, it
just makes sense.
It just makes sense to be mad. And there's times when you don't even be mad, but it's like, I got to show them that I'm mad, rather than I could be real and say, like, honestly, like, like, that didn't really bother me, but I did notice that you were trying to, you know what I'm saying? The realness. Yeah. And so, like, I think really, like I say, like, being a good person is about living in that truth, not living in your truth, but living in the truth that says, like, okay, like, I'm mad and I don't want to talk. And then you tell that person, hey, look, I know we should talk about it, but I'm mad. So just give me some time.
Yeah, because that's how Reggie is. When he's upset, he just don't talk.
Yeah,
he just puts in his headphones and he watches whatever. And at first, I was.
No.
At first, I was the
Here.
one.
And I'll tell you, if you pull that, like,
this?
it's gonna go that way, because it's tight. It should be tight now.
It is.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It'd be tripping. I'm gonna get a new one.
It's fine. I'll just hold it.
Okay.
I'll be the one to try to force.
Hold on. Let me say this real quick. You real, because you're like, let me just hold it. A real one. Okay, go ahead.
I'll be the one to try to force a conversation.
Okay.
And he was like, no, because I'm upset. And if I talk right now, I might say something that you don't like, or it's gonna come out really wrong.
Ugly, yeah.
So at first I was like, I'll get even more frustrated because it's not going anywhere. We're stuck in the situation now. I'm the kind of person, or I was the kind of person that's like, I want to fix this and I want to fix this now.
Yeah.
Because you always heard you can't go to bed mad. You're not supposed to go to sleep mad. Uh,
which those people do all the time. So let's be honest.
yeah. So
Uh-huh.
but growing up in church, even like in our marriage, we
Yeah.
always go to church and stuff.
Yeah.
So I will always try to live by that, of not
Mm-hmm.
going to sleep mad. And I was like, oh my God, God's gonna be so mad at us. But I'm like, no, like this is the reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie and apologize if I'm not ready to apologize either.
That's right.
Cause then I'm just gonna be like, it's not gonna be genuine.
Yeah.
So yeah, we sometimes we'll just go to sleep
Mm-hmm.
mad, and because I would try to force a conversation, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
just end up even worse.
Okay. See.
So
Yeah.
just let the other person just cool off,
Yeah.
and wait until they, want to come to you and talk. But he'll forget about it and
Okay.
just act like nothing happened. I'm like, no, we have to talk about this,
Yeah.
because if this comes up again, I'm gonna get upset again.
Right. 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 And
So
and I want to ask you. I'm gonna ask you this question because I think it's an interesting question. I haven't heard anybody ask it.
Mhm.
When people say he's gonna act like nothing happened, question: do you feel like that he's pretending, or do you feel like he like just let it go? What do you think?
as for my husband, he would just let it go.
Okay, that's why I asked that, because I've seen that happen a lot where people will be like, "Oh, they're acting like nothing happened," but I've fallen into that where I forgave, and
Mhm.
I was like to me, like, okay, it happened. I'm cool. Let's keep going. And I noticed, and of course, it's not specifically a man woman thing because everybody's different,
Mhm.
but I've noticed a lot of times, that's the dynamic. Like a lot of dudes will be mad, and then after a while, we're like, "That's okay," like, man.
Mhm.
And then we'll be like, "Hey, let's go eat." Like we're
Yeah.
back. And then I noticed like a lot of the ladies will be like,
I think
"Are we
because
not
we're
gonna?"
more emotional.
Okay, okay,
I
break that
think
down.
we hold on to things more.
Okay, yeah.
We're more emotional. We hold on to things more, and we. Well, I'm not gonna generalize
Generalize. I
women,
understand.
but as for me, like I take everything to the heart.
Okay, I respect that.
Yeah. So, especially if it's
Yeah.
from like my husband,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like I take everything personal.
And you know what? And that's what I'll say too is I'll say two things. Cause one thing, my parents, they've been married for almost 30 years,
Okay.
and I was
Congrats to them.
hey, and I want to be like them. And my dad,
Period.
he gave me some. What'd you say?
Period.
Oh, don't bring that on my show. No, no, just
Ooh.
playing.
Hopefully.
No, you're good. You're good. No, but he was telling me, because I asked him, I was like, well, like, what do you do, when y'all
Mhm.
argue and stuff like that? He was like, honestly, he's like, we do the same thing, like, cool off and stuff like that. He said, but I always will like go to God, and he was like, if it's a situation where I'm wrong, I'll apologize, of course, and if she's wrong, she'll apologize, but they'll still be mad. Or if she does something to him, he's like, I stopped trying to prove my point, like, no, because it wasn't going anywhere. He said, so I
Mhm.
would, a lot of times, that is the best thing about having God in your relationship,
Mhm.
because he said I'll go tell God, like, I'll go tell on her to God. And so he'll go and be like, God,
Uh,
she doing this,
That's a
and
good.
God will come over and be like, why? And I've seen it,
That's a good advice.
Because a lot of people
Yeah.
don't, like, a lot of people, of course, now these days, like, a lot of people don't have God in their lives,
Mhm.
period. You know what I'm saying? But for the people that do, they kind of put him outside of the relationship, and it's like, but God is like, look, I'm here to be in the middle,
Right.
and like he'll go tell, and then God will come to her and be like, why are you doing this, and then she'll come to him and
Mhm.
be like, God got on me, and he'll be like, oh, okay, and he's not like, see,
Yeah.
but he's like, that I was just talking to God, you know what I mean, or vice
Yeah.
versa, she'll tell God on him, and then it'll, and so
Yeah.
I've seen, even in, what you're saying is perfect though, between y'all's relationship, because it's refreshing to hear honesty, because
Mhm.
I've watched so many, well, I come across so many YouTube podcasts and stuff with relationships, and it's so, I don't know if you've watched them, but it's so
I don't really watch them.
yeah, don't do it. Don't get into it, because it's so like, for lack of a better words, toxic. The way everybody's trying to get a one up, and it's like, nah, he's got to do this, 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 and this, or nah, she got to do this and this and this, and like hearing you be like, nah, if I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. If he's
Yeah.
wrong, I say I'm wrong. It's a realness to it. So I just wanted to.
Yeah, and it should never be a competition between you and your husband, because you know when you win, your husband wins, and when your husband wins, you win. So it's like, why why would I commit to somebody who I'm always gonna be in competition with? That's exhausting. That is exhausting. And or trying to persuade, not persuade, trying to pretend like your relationship is perfect is exhausting as well, because you're always trying to put this front up that you're perfect, and we are far from that.
See,
Individually, so even together, when it's two different people, like it's never going to be perfect, you know.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and of course with now social media, everybody's only posting like the good,
Yeah.
right? Which,
right.
you know, is fine, whatever. But like when you say, when people who do podcasts and stuff, like if you're not going to be real, then what's the point? Cuz I feel like having a podcast is you're trying to not teach, but let everyone know like it's okay to not be perfect. This is real life. This isn't like social media where you only post the good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hey, you talking, spitting. See, and that's what I'm talking about. That's why I love doing this, because you know God gave me the idea, and He knows how I am. Like me, I like to be real, because it like I said, like even with like the mic and how you were like this mic, you know, and it's like I've had time like the on the other one, like her phone was ringing, she was like, "Oh, my bad," like that kind of stuff. I love to keep it in because it's like people can look and be like, that's real, like you know, because everybody edits all that stuff out. But I'm like, those are the moments that people can look at and say, like, wow, I connect with that. That's smart. They might not listen to nothing else, but they're like, see how she's fixing the mic? That'd be me. Like my mic would, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay. So let's pull from the bowl again.
Okay.
Man, it's so good, man. See, I knew. That's real. Peace. Okay. Let's talk about it. So what is one thing that gives you peace?
God, really.
Okay.
Because I have like a lot of anxiety and stuff.
Okay.
So when I find myself anxious or worrying about any and everything, like I just want prayer.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. Because look, you can't fix something that can't be fixed. So don't need to be worrying about that. Just pray about it. I just pray about it. And God, if it's His will, He'll let it be.
Yeah.
If it's not, then there's nothing I can do about it.
That's so real.
But that's all. I mean, He's my peace. So
yeah, and it's crazy because I think it's tough, because one of my main goals in life is, of course, doing media, but bigger than that, I always wanted to show the true side of God, like the side where, like the real, like let's be real, like when we're faced with real life, where does God come in that? Not in like, oh, when I go to church, I get this and this and this, but it's like, no. When you leave church, and then you're mad and you cuss somebody out in the parking lot, okay, after that, where does God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even you saying Him being your peace, and it being like, well, if it's His will, then it's gonna keep, you know what I mean? That's the thing. But if it's not His will, then He'll show me what to do, and then I just do it, and it works out, you know.
And that's what part of being like a Christian is, like you always have some kind of peace. It's like, because you know or you believe in a higher power that's gonna take over whatever it is.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, that's pretty much what peace is to me.
Yo, that's crazy. No, it's crazy because it's so it it's refreshing to hear that cuz like why is it? Let me see. I've seen I've seen so much like as of late, just going on in the world and
Mhm.
like of course we have Christian people. Like of course we got brothers
Mhm.
and sisters in Christ, believers. But in that same breath, I've seen there's a image that is like put in front of that. Like there's the real and then there's like an image put in front. Now, I wouldn't say, oh, those people aren't real, but what I would say is the image put in front of it isn't real. Like like yeah, you're gonna go through this, but guess what? God's gonna always do this and this. Or it's like, man, there's a blessing right around the corner and this and this. And I'm like, well, I don't know. No, and this is why I say that, because there's times when I've seen people being like, if you just hold on, God's gonna bless you. And I was like, yes, but he's not doing what God told him to, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's like there's instruction that God's given that person and they're not listening.
Mhm.
So how are they gonna get to point B if they never start from point A? So it's stuff like
Mhm.
that I like to just kind of bring up, because I'm like, there's people that look at Christianity like that stuff's not real, but they don't. But it's what we're showing. It's
Right.
like we're not going deep enough. Where it's like, yeah, there's a blessing around the corner, but you gotta talk about, but you kind of walking in sin and you walking in
Yeah.
unforgiveness. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You have to also, you can't just be like praying for a new job but not applying.
yeah,
You have to put in your work too.
action, yeah.
Yeah, you can't just be like, God, give me $1,000 and I promise.
I was talking to somebody.
You can't do that. God don't work like that. God does
Yeah,
not work like that. You got to put in work.
yeah, and it was funny that you say that, because like that's what a lot of people see God as. Like, well, God, look, because he knows it, because it's
Mhm.
everything is faith based. Like God is always like, it's about faith. Where's your faith? Where's your faith? And people are like, we were just talking about that yesterday. Today, me and my family, and we were talking about people will be like, look, God, okay, look, I'm doing what you told me. Look, that's faith. That's faith. And he's like, not, because if it was faith, you wouldn't have to come,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so people, I'm like, we got to be real, because God is real. He looks at our heart and says, now, like you said, now you're praying for this new job, but did you apply like I told you? Nah, God, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get to it. Well,
Yeah.
so that's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do
Okay.
one more topic, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
All right.
See, yeah. But
Have you ever came across somebody
Mhm.
where you're like, you've never like spoken to them personally,
Uh huh.
but something about them is like, you different.
Yeah.
Like as a like Christian wise.
Uh huh.
And then when you get to talk to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, I've been going to church, blah blah blah." Like I'm like, but you see, like you felt something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that sometimes. Well,
No, no,
I just
no.
wanna-
That's good.
Oh.
That's good. No, no. You okay? This.
What do you want me to do?
No, it's because you'll bring up some a good
Okay.
topic. And I'm like, oh, that's good. We should talk about that.
Okay.
But let's get your topic first,
Okay.
and then I want to talk about that.
Okay. Talents and gifts.
Okay. All right.
I couldn't really.
Sorry, my handwriting.
No, you're fine. Talents and gifts.
Yeah, that's true. There's chicken scratch, and then there's me. I'm right there. Before you get into that part, there's something good. Like I think that more people are supposed to notice. Like you're supposed to pick that thing up. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be a thing where you see other people and you can say it's something about that. Because I've had that too. It's interesting because I've had it too. I'll be walking by. And they be like, "Hey man, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm good." And I'll be like you just kind of look like, like, and then they'll start talking.
Yeah.
You like, hey, you
See
talking
a
like
little light
you
in
see a
them.
little. That's what it is. See that light, you be like, wait a minute, like, and then they'll talk about it, or you
Yeah.
see them like the way they move and stuff. You
Mhm.
like, you a Christian? They be like, yeah, yeah, and that's how it's supposed to be. But
Yeah.
it can be tough sometimes because you be like,
Yeah, like I remember in high
yeah.
school, like, I used to always try to hide that. I
Mm.
used to always try to hide
This
that.
podcast about to be 2 hours because you talking about some good
Oh, okay,
stuff.
I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. I'm saying it's good. Like you.
No, yeah, like
Sorry,
I would
go ahead.
always try to hide that. I wanted to fit in with everybody, you know?
Me too. That's
And
crazy.
that, you know, it wasn't cool to go to church or
Yeah.
be a Christian. And like when you came over the other day and we were saying how like Reggie would go party and stuff, my parents would never. And my mom would always be like, "You better invite him to church on Tuesday for the youth Bible class or whatever." I'm like, he's gonna break up with me for sure. And look at us now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I used to always try to pretend.
Me too. And you know, me too. Sorry, mom and dad. But they,
Hey,
but they know.
that's-
They look. My
We're
dad.
kids, we're
Look, my dad
kids.
used to tell stories. He'd be like, man, because in college, well, this was before he was saved though. But he was like, you know, he'd be like, I be partying and stuff. And then there was a guy that he was like trained to be a pastor. And so they were all partying and stuff. And then like he had come down the stairs, and like literally it was like kind of like a record, like everybody was looking, and they were like, man, what are you doing here? Like, what are you doing? Like, hey, what, and he was like, oh, like I just came to the party, like I just came to see everybody, and everybody's like, oh man, everybody started putting their drinks down, like, oh, I'll see you at church. And he was like, whoa, like I came to see.
Yeah.
But there's something, but even growing older, there's something that I wanted to do. That's always been my goal for media, is I wanted to make the Lord not cool, but I wanted to show a part of him, like I said, like that real. Like it's like, okay, we're made to be different.
Mhm.
Like we're just different.
Mhm.
It'd be like if somebody was like it was like a room full of Hispanic people, and then like that's how it used to be at the Kingston Years when I come. Like it was a room full of Hispanic people. And then I walk in and everybody be like, Drew, like, hey. But it wasn't a bad thing. Like they just be like, oh, well, hey, hey, how you doing? It's like, oh yeah, she invited me and stuff. And then the next question was like, are you hungry? Do you want something? I was like, no, I'm good. They were like, no, you gotta eat. They always try to make me eat. I was like, I get it.
Yeah.
But but it's like no matter what, I'm gonna be amongst the people,
Mhm.
but I'm always gonna be different. Like I'm just
Yeah.
different. And I think a lot of people, me and my sister would always say it like this, like, and then we'll get into that. Me and my sister would always say, being a Christian should be like you being your race, where it's like there's nothing, like if somebody was like put a gun to you, like, are you Hispanic? What can I
Yeah.
say? Like, I can't.
There's only one answer.
There's only one answer. And so in that same way, that's what I've seen. I've seen that a lot more. It's good to be a Christian, but I think we have to be like real, like,
Mhm.
but you got to really be like,
Yeah.
nah, it's cool. Like if somebody asks you like, are you a Christian? It shouldn't be like, well,
Yeah.
there should be like, you can see me and be like,
Yeah.
hey.
And I feel like as an
Yeah.
adult, it becomes more clear. I feel like
Mhm.
when you're still like a teen, you're still trying to discover who you are and trying to
Yeah.
fit in with people. So I can see it being hard. Like looking back, it was hard
It was hard, yeah.
because you wanted to, fit in with everybody. Especially you talk to every, I can't imagine you talk to every group of people. So
I did.
but yeah, I could see it being difficult for like teenagers because they're still trying to figure out who they are. But once you
Yeah.
become older, you realize like who you are. That's just part of who you are, and there's nothing
Mhm.
to be ashamed about it.
Yeah.
Actually, the complete opposite. That's something you should glorify.
Be proud of.
Mhm.
Yeah. And even what you said about talking to different groups, like I was in a place where I was like,
Mhm.
I would talk to everybody. Like it didn't matter. Like, oh, they're
Yes.
like, you know Chris? Yeah, I know Chris. Oh, you know Chris? Yeah, I know Chris.
Everybody knew Chris.
Everybody knew Chris. But it was like, but I will say this though. It was the same thing where everybody's like, oh, he's cool. Like, oh, he's funny. But I wish, well, like you said, I was young, so I didn't have the understanding that I do now, where I wish it was like, oh yeah, isn't he like with God? Like, cause as I got older, that started happening more. Where I didn't even there was people I didn't even know, and like I'd be somewhere and they would come up to me and they'd be like, "You're a pastor,
Mhm.
right?" And I was like, "No, like I'm not a pastor." Like it'd be like, "Aren't you with God?" Like and I would have people come up to me that I haven't met, and they were like, it through like I guess see me on Instagram or through they would know they would be like, "Hey, like I had a question, like I'm trying to get closer to God and stuff," and I'd be like at a party, like, "Hey man, I'm trying to and I had to catch myself because I'm like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. Like I'm trying to be like, man, I'm at the party. Like, what are you talking about? Talking to me about God? And God was like,
That's your
I
conscience.
know. And it's
I'm just
crazy.
kidding.
And I think back and I'm like, it's crazy. I was talking about God like that. Like I was like, man, God, why you send me these people? I'm trying to party. And he's like, what? Like I'm like, oh. And my priorities are crazy. So no, you're right. Being younger though, it wasn't attractive. But I'll tell you why. Is because we haven't really set up like me and my dad talk about a culture like for that like
Mhm.
a culture where it's like, oh, this is how we do it, this is how we do this. It's been that thing, that clean like facade type thing, not the real like, yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
perfect, but this is what I like to wear in God, so
Yeah. And
so
I've been seeing a lot more like I'm like on TikTok and stuff.
hmm
And I've been seeing a lot of like teenagers and stuff. Like they be talking about like some good stuff. Like I've
yeah.
been seeing that lately. I'm like, okay, good for y'all because I could never at that age. No, for real, I could never. I was just trying to have fun with everybody. No, but I'm like that's good.
That's
That's
good,
good. And a
yeah.
lot of these kids need to be watching those kind of videos.
the, the cameras. That's gonna be a
Cause
great edit. I'm just
man,
gonna go back and forth. That's gonna be hilarious.
cause these kids nowadays,
Yeah, it's tough.
it's getting crazy out there.
Yeah, my mom's a teacher. She's like, these
Oh, really?
kids. Yeah, and my sister.
Middle school? Oh, yeah.
Elementary, and she teaches. My mom teaches special needs. She's like,
Oh, wow.
even these kids, like they.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. It doesn't matter, but it's been that lack of God present, like to be like, hey, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying. So, okay, let's get
Yeah.
into this topic.
Oh, well, I
Um,
forgot what it was.
oh, talents and gifts,
Oh.
right? See, it's my job. I got you.
Okay.
It's my job. Um, talents and gifts. So, we'll just kind of go through this, make it
Mhm.
a quick segment,
Mhm.
because because I was
Yeah.
spitting, you was spitting, we was in it. Okay, but
My
what?
talent is
Yeah,
I could sing. No, I'm kidding.
oh, hey, I was about to, I was about to say.
I'm
Hold on, let me
kidding.
cut the music. Okay,
I'm kidding. I'm
okay. So,
kidding.
what do you feel your talents?
Hmm. Can we bring in a special guest for this answer? No, just kidding. Um, my gifts and talents.
Okay.
Hmm.
I could. You want me to? I'll
Go
throw
ahead.
one at you. You're decorating.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm crafty.
Okay. All right. Let's
Yeah.
talk about that. So, you're crafty. What does that mean? Because.
Um, I just like to create
Mhm.
anything
Okay.
that like decoration or I'm just really trying to think. Like just crafts really. Like if I see a paint like that painting that's on the wall, if I really like it, I'll
Okay.
be like, okay, let me recreate that.
And I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all can't see it because I'm not turning these cameras. Go ahead.
But if I see something that I like, I would
Okay.
try to recreate it and not to pat my own back, but it be coming out good.
Yeah, I believe it. Cause
So
yeah. No, and I want, and the reason I bring that up too is because I've noticed that a lot of people, when it comes to their talents and gifts, they've done it for so long, or it comes so naturally to them that when people are like, man, this is amazing, like, man, you're so crafty, and a lot of times we'll be like, yeah, and they're
yeah.
like, oh, like, and we'll downplay it
Yeah.
because we've done it for so long. So the reason I bring that up is because I feel like, I even with myself, like, somebody might look at the camera setup and everything and be like, man, like, how
Yeah.
did you, appreciate it? Because even
Yeah,
you were
when I
like,
walked in, I was like, okay,
see,
professional
and I
over
had some
here.
people walking by and they were like, look, whoa, that's crazy. And
I didn't see anybody. No, just kidding.
look, it was another podcast. You weren't here.
Oh,
But
okay. I'm just kidding.
No, you good. That's hilarious. Comedian. All right. Anyway, but no,
My talent.
that's your talent. All right. So there's people though, like that will look at your stuff and really be like, wow, like this is amazing, and it's up to us to we have to feel that about ourselves. You know what I mean? And so I wonder, is there a talent that you wish that you had? Like, if you could have a talent, what would it be?
I wish I could sing,
I know.
but them car rides would be going off if I knew how to sing.
Man,
I mean, they still do. They still do. But I wish I could sing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people.
And that's crazy because sorry, not to cut
No,
you off.
you're not. You're not.
My, like most of my dad's side of the family, well, a lot of my dad's side of the family, they could sing, and I'm like, where's our talent? Where's our singing talent? All of them can sing.
That's tough. You know, that's one talent that I wish I had too. Cause like, I don't know. Like, I could rap, but
okay,
I'm not gonna do it. But if y'all,
I'm like, wait, what?
There's a link to my. Oh yeah, the camera. This is my camera. Yeah, y'all can find my music and stuff. But
isn't it Chris versus the world?
that's facts. Yes, it is.
Oh, I got my shirt, by the way.
Oh,
I got it in the mail.
Good. Shirts. So thank you.
Shameless plug here.
Yeah, shameless plug. But yeah, you know, but it's something where I was like, man, I went to this event, and it was like my sister found it, and it was this event where like they do like a worship night.
Okay.
And these people were planted though. There was no way. So they would bring their friends out who could sing too. So it was people in the middle singing. They would sing songs, and then they'd be like, "All right, we're gonna go throughout the crowd and hand the mic to people."
Oh.
And I was like, no, I went twice. So the first one, it caught me off guard because they'd be like, let's give it to this person. Here you go, sir. And he'd be like, and I was like, what? I was like, man, that dude could sing. I was like, that was crazy. And then somebody on the clear other side of the room, they'd be like, all right, next, you going to go to this person? And then they give it to, and it'd be a lady. She'd be like, oh. I was like, amazing. And then after like the fifth person, I said, wait a minute, this is a setup. I was set up. So, but it was something where I was like, man, I wish I could sing. And God was like, he was like, you could rap though. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And he was like, there's people that look at you and say, man, I wish I could do music like him. Like, I wish I could rap like him. Like, how do you? And I've downplayed it to where I was like, I wish I could be like that. But he was like, people are looking at you. So same way you said the craft, like, there's people that are looking at like, man, I wish I could crap. Because you did your tree. Like the Grinch, you know, and your whole like I went to your place and it was so cool. Yeah. And so it was something where I was like, this is so amazing because of course, you know, you're the decorations, but you created the whole Whoville. Like when I walked in, I was like, you know who why? Wanted to gather around and start singing. But it was so crazy to look around, and I was like, wow, because you made all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Oh, also, at the end, people are going to probably want your Instagram and stuff like that, so just be ready for that. If you want to.
No, I just don't know what I'll just have to look
No, I'll link it below, too.
Okay,
don't worry about it. So I'll just link it. But yeah, and so I would look at your stuff, and I'm like, you created all this, like... Man, I wish I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so I was just saying that to kind of boost you up, but also you're welcome. But to put it on, to put it for the audience too, to let them know, like, yo, like you have gifts and talents that God gave you that people are looking at you like, man, if only I could be like this person. And then that same person will look back at you like, man, if I could just be like them. And I feel it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And there's so many people that go wrong because they kind of bury their talent to chase after that talent. Like, oh, I'm gonna start doing singing lessons, and then I'm gonna do it. And it's like, when you could really be pushing this, what you already have, you know. So yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a good podcast. Thank you. You real. Melissa, everybody, Melissa. So, last thing I'm gonna do, and you can make it as quick as you want to. You don't have to say a lot. So there's your camera right here. If you want to tell anything to the people, like give them some, you know, words that'll help them, or just any advice that you have, then you can.
Okay. Well, all right. know what to say because we talked about everything.
We did. That's true.
But what can I say? Let's see.
Like any advice that you've gotten that you were like, this has made me who I am, you could tell them.
Just be true to yourself. I mean, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. As long as you know, are true to yourself and to God, then everything will fall in its place.
Perfect. See? Perfect.
I mean, that's all I.
No, that's facts. Literally, that's
all I can
perfect advice.
say.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's all you need.
Yeah.
All right. But thank y'all so much for joining us. Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome.
A real one. So yeah, we will see y'all next time on the next Bold podcast. Peace.
The Bold Podcast.